If you think Trump is really embarrassing and making really embarrassing decisions right now, and you aspire to be a leader or you are one, we need to have a quick chat, okay? Part of why he's in this situation, part of making incredibly stupid decisions with Iran, is because he has surrounded himself with unqualified people who do not disagree with him. And that is an action that has been very heavily normalized in corporate America. And he is famously not a career politician. He has always been in corporate America. And he has not done well in corporate America. Luckily, he was born rich. And he puts on a great show, so he did great on The Apprentice. And that's why we know who he is. But an unwritten rule of work, I researched the unwritten rules of work, and something that happens as you get into higher status positions in higher status organizations is there's the unwritten rule to not disagree with anyone in power. And while I often am working with people who are trying to figure out how to deal with that leader, I also work with people who don't want to become that leader. Because what happens is you get super insulated, you think everything's going okay, and meanwhile everybody's looking at you like, what a goddamn idiot. Because you're acting like one. Because you have punished anyone who brings you a different opinion or bad news. Narcissists are especially susceptible to this unwritten rule, or people with narcissistic tendencies. And people with narcissistic tendencies can also be people who've had a lot of trauma. I've met a lot of people who've had religious trauma where they weren't allowed to be wrong or to disagree with their parents or their pastor or whatever. And now that they are in a position of power, they expect that from everybody else, okay? Whatever the reason, the behavior does not have a good outcome for you or the organization. Now, remember his first term, 2016 to 2020? He was firing people every week. He had people who were not yes people who disagreed with him. He got rid of them. This time, he showed us up front he was not doing that. The only person on his cabinet who's remotely qualified is Marco Rubio. And Marco Rubio is getting glass cliffed. Once the women are gone, him and Kash Patel are next. Marco Rubio was actually decently respected in Florida. I mean, he is now, but Florida's changed. Back when it was a swing state. But he has sold his soul to be a little yes man, and he's getting so many responsibilities that when any of them slip, he will be the DEI hire who failed, even though he's the only one who's qualified. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to be about Marco Rubio. Trump showed us, more than told us, that he did tell us he wanted loyalty. Doge was supposed to get rid of any federal employees that weren't loyal. And he put idiots in charge. I mean, the most unqualified I can think of being Pete Hegseth as Secretary of the Pentagon. And imagine that what's going on with the Pentagon isn't going well. Now Trump is finding out that his hand-selected group of yes men and a few women created a distorted reality where what they say to him and what they let him do is not what the rest of the world will let them do. He has, even though he intentionally picked people who were loyal and yes people, he has this delusion in his mind that his way is the correct way and the only way, which is a problem with a lot of people as well, who seek power, white supremacists, patriarchs, etc. And now he's finding out that the rest of the world is not his yes people. They're not in his little bubble. And it's not going how he wants it to go. And it's really obvious to anybody outside of the circle or his little cult that, no shit. This is a problem that happens on a much smaller scale in organizations every fucking day. Because while you should always talk about communication norms, while you deserve to be told things respectfully and that conflict can be handled respectfully, if you don't know how to hear that something needs work, that something's gone wrong, you're going to be a Trump. And if that sounds like a compliment, I can't help you. If that sounds concerning, then let's work on how you establish communication and disagreement norms on your team and reflect on what's that piece of yourself that takes things so personally and has to be the expert all the time. Because if you could do it, if leadership was supposed to be about knowing it all, you wouldn't need to lead anybody.